Well, I need to welcome you back, and we're still the big story for today. We're talking about that very revelation made by no other but the finance minister, who also doubles as coordinating minister of the economy, saying that the federal government revenue seem to have increased to over 1 trillion naira in the last 4 months. For many, it's a sign of good things to come. But for Nigerians, they are wondering why we've not yet felt the impact. Is it that the time is too short for any reasonable impact to be felt? Or is it the way the money is being shared that's also causing a whole lot of problems? But anyway, no problem to talk about it, because we still have our very own economist here. And we're talking about Comrade FM&TV helping out with the discussion. But you do know it's about that time. We need to go on a break now and get message from our sponsors. And we're talking about Beneta Gas, located right here in Ughelli, Warri and environs. And when we come back, more discussion on the big story.
Oh, yeah, follow the road, auto better quality. If you dey talk gas matter, oh yeah, follow Beneta. Gas with the better quality, Beneta gas. Gas where they full rich man to Beneta gas. Delivery brother na sharply, Beneta gas. Beneta gas no mago, Beneta gas. Different type of gas cylinder, Beneta. I mean I got gas we go last you well, Beneta gas. Beneta now do Beneta gas service in a them they run Beneta gas make you carry go
for gas matter and home delivery. Make you wire Beneta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Beneta gas plant, the tequile of gas matters.
Okay, well, we need to welcome you back, and we just got a message from our sponsors. But like I said, we're still remaining with a big story for today, and we still have the other person, but Comrade FM&TV, helping out with the discussion. Anyway, before, in case you're just joining us, a quick recap of what we've had initial, especially in the first half of it. We talked about that very revelation and how much of a praise will definitely come to the federal government for such a revelation. One of the few times we've had the federal government, rather than lament, but coming out to say, well, come on, we're doing well as it accounts to revenue being generated. But the question still remains, why have we not felt the impact? Is it quite a short a time for any meaningful impact to be felt? Or do you feel the way the money is being distributed, just like Comrade FM&TV would say, it's not the best way? Rather, it should be channeled into other ways that can quickly, the people quickly feel the pulse of it. But anyway, let's continue with our discussion. And before we went on the break, you complained bitterly about accountability, especially as it accounts to most of our public elected officers. And I really would like us to continue there, because how much of accountability should now be from the federal government, states and local government on account of this? Because why I'm asking that, in a recent visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Saudi Arabia, in that Arab African summit that was held in Riyadh, he said he promised that accountability will be the watchword of this administration. But looking at this huge revenue that is now coming to the public purse, how much would accountability mean for us to get it? Because there's one thing to say we've had large increase, and when it's being stolen away, it amounts to nothing. So how really important is accountability on this?
The worst situation, if you don't have at all, it's better than when you have and you squash it.
Yes.
So accountability cannot be overlooked, neither can it be overstressed. You know, there is a saying that of what use is wisdom when it has not brought positive impact into one's life. It's useless. So we have bodies that are able to monitor this thing. We have budgets, and so there's several other bodies that can be of a watchdog over this matter. If there is no accountability, what we will not be driving out will be worse than the scenario we are coming from. And that is why Mr. President is singing that. And the only way to enforce accountability is also revitalize and empower your judiciary. Like is it the Chief of Defense asserted yesterday, or Chief of Army Staff, after the meeting with the National Assembly?
Yeah, when the Senate invited the security chiefs.
Yes, that they should not be in a hurry to release or to pass a favorable judgment in favor of criminals that have been arrested. It will jeopardize the security situation. Yeah. And moreover, they should not be using technicalities to knock out so many issues. We should be seen to be accountable, and not only be accountable, let those who have come short of the law be seen to be punished according to the weight of the crime they have committed. Part of the problems we're having in Nigeria today, if not most of the problem, is hinged on the fact that you take a case to court and you know quite well that in fact the caprices and the caprices of the case are visible for everybody to see. Even the blind can hear the sound of it. But it can be there for the next 20, 30 years. No justice is done. Somebody once they said, that was about last month, that all the people that were being prosecuted by the former EFCC man Abdul Rahim Bawa.
Is it Bawa or no. Yeah, Bawa or Magu?
Bawa, the one that just
the one that left.
Yes, the immediate
Rashid Bawa. Yeah.
All the people, most of the people he was prosecuting are now having juicy appointments, elective offices, while himself was in jail. Before he came out, the rug has been pulled off his feet. So for you to have a proper accountability, it is one thing for you to accuse somebody, it is one thing for you to charge somebody for an improper conduct. Then it is another thing for that person to be prosecuted. Because when he comes out and will tell you, what again are you going to do now? That question alone can send somebody into dementia. Let us be able to plow this money. Let there be bodies that will monitor this money. Let there be free hands to these people who are monitoring it. For whatever they're able to find out that is not supposed to be done, let them be prosecuted.
No. Still talking about accountability, and there's also a recent call for periodic assessment and also public accounts givings of the federal government.
That is accountability.
Yeah, and they feel if there's this periodic assessment of government spending and what they intend to spend the money for, it would generally be looked at, and every other person will follow the way of the money. But apart from that, because why there's this growing concern about federal government, and not just federal but state and local government, coming out to give the public what they are spending on and what they intend to spend on, it will also help reduce corrupt officials that have had their hands deep into public purse, just like Ahmed Idris, the last Auditor General of the Federation, that was alleged to have stolen $193 million. Only in the last administration. So how much of that also, because we're still with accountability, how much of periodic public account statements in the public eyes for this government to look like, okay, we're making this huge sum, but this is what we spent, this is what we'll spend, this is where we'll definitely put it in, and everybody follows the money?
One thing the government should do, if you set 3 months as a yardstick, it will be too short to monitor the movement because of the huge spending of the government. But all I do know, you cannot leave this job for the Accountant General of the Federation alone. You should have some independent bodies that you call once in a while to do the checks, and should be given free access into the information base.
Okay.
Now,
as a concern spending.
Exactly. What you are spending, does it have cash backing? Number one. Okay. Is it captured in the budget? Number two. Is it being channeled to the actual purpose for which it is done? Yeah. Number three. Is it approved at that point in time? If the price is, or if the cost is no longer the same, is there any variation? Who authorized the variation? Of what value? What value is it going to bring into the system? Okay. All these are part of the things that the independent investigators will be able to do. For a very long time, the CBN never had anybody auditing it. NMPs never had anybody auditing it. They were just spending until they got tired of spending. And now you are not talking of you want to start accountability. What happens to all those money that you have lost? In a complete system, all these things are supposed to be on their own. They're supposed to run on a normal basis, even without little or no human intervention. Because if the system is designed, it flows as it goes on its own, like an autopilot. We have been lacking that for a very long time. But thank God, Mr. President has just come to tell us now that he is going to be accountable to Nigerians and is going to run a free and transparent government. Let us hold him on that for now. We cannot start judging him. Let us give him some little time to breathe.
Now, still talking about accountability, because I'm really hinged on really us talking about it. Just recently, the budget of the federal government came into being, and we saw some very outrageous spending. Funny enough, most of them are still in the papers, like that of Osun State, that the state government has spent 6 billion naira in the last 3 months, all on issues that, come on, quite really embarrassing. But all the same, let's look at it and also remain with it. Now, let's look at the issue of government spending and how much should the government do to deal with those spending. You raised it up initially before we went on the first half break. And I want us to continue there, because many will say, as much as we're making a whole lot, if we do not have the federal government, state government, and local government do their own part in cutting down the cost, the monies will always trickle down through there, and at the end, no positive impact will be felt. Just like a state government spending 6 billion naira on State House in 3 months.
2 billion in a month.
2 billion in a month. On food, on recharge cards, and funny enough, even we have that of Lagos State government also being held on account of monies they intend spending for fans and recharge cards. So let's look at the issue of public government public spending, and how it is only important that they reduce that to also make sense with this whole lot of money we're now generating.
You know the evil of these things? Even when you say you spend so much money on recharge cards,
yes,
most of these highly placed public officers do get free recharge cards from the networks.
Okay.
So I don't know where they are spending that money from. It's just like when somebody said then that they were paying rent in Aso Rock. I don't know who owns Aso Rock that they are paying rent to. Now you have come out to tell us that you have spent 6 billion naira in 3 months for feeding and recharge cards. Even if you eat 3 cows, if you slaughter 3 cows a day for 1 month, how much does that result into? You have a cow of about 1.2 million.
Okay.
That's 3.6 million.
Yeah.
How many of them are you going to eat in a month? Are you not on your own salary? Are you not being paid salary for you to run the state? Is it the feeding of the state that is going to carry you and your family? There are so many things of these things which you cut off, and not even to talk about them at all. Keep away all these things from the budget, then everything will fall in line. Look at what do they call it now? The recharge card issue.
Yeah.
How many people are you calling? Does the governor even have the time to make calls? Does the commissioners have the time to make calls when they are busy 24 hours in a day? And you are allocating such money. And at the end of the day, you don't spend the money, you look for every means of frivolous account ahead. You start debiting and crediting. At the end of the day, you say you exhausted this money. In fact, we have a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot. We need to have lectures on public accountability, of which most people don't have. Many people will just tell you, like the whole people, not even many people now, everybody's involved in that. It is your turn to make what you can make. If you like, come back home and start asking people, I beg go and look for 10,000 naira for me. Nobody will listen to that one with you. Let us cut off some government expenditure that are not beneficial to the people. What is the benefit of you? Like I said in the first half,
yes,
refer to it, for you to travel with almost 100 A's. What are you going to do
to an location?
To an location. You will fuel those cars. Don't forget. The wear and tear of those cars are there. Then you now talk of OP, out of pocket expenses to everybody that has gone with you. At the end of the day, how much have you taken out of the treasury? How much have you put back into the treasury? Because if you continue taking, and you don't replace, the pocket will be empty. That is why they make a proverb that the pocket of a poor man is never empty. Because he doesn't put hand into it. But a rich man, every second you dip your hand into your pocket, at the end of the day.
Okay. Comrade, before you take us to Tales by Moonlight, I would really want us to now look, or rather come to the big story itself, or the big question on the big story. And that still remains, with such beautiful revelation coming from no other but the coordinating minister of the economy, that we're now making 1 trillion naira. In your own words, what should these monies now be used for? It's a good revelation. It's an antidote to tell us that, okay, yes, we have solution to some of the problem because we're now generating a lot. But what should these lots be used for?
That is where the crux of the whole matter is.
Okay.
This money, if you use part of it to revamp your ailing refinery, at a point, your importation of petroleum products will stop.
Okay.
If not, let's say by 80%. You have saved a lot of money. That is certain. Put this thing into the energy sector, it will go a lot
But we've had. I will take you up on these two you've raised now.
Yes.
You talked about the refineries and you talked about energy.
Yes.
And in the last 10 years, we've spent nothing less than 11 trillion naira on revamping these same refineries you're talking of to no account.
But Mr. President,
we spent about 2.1 billion United States dollars in the last 8 years in dealing with the issue of power. And yet we just signed an understanding in Germany with a foreign partnership bringing only, and I will put only $300 million to deal with some major power issues we have here. So would this still not amount to nothing if we as a country now invest this same money we tend to be saving into where we know will amount to nothing, because at the end it will be stolen?
It will not. It will not. There is a political will and a political purpose matter. You have the political will. When those things were being done, was there the political will to actually carry out the...
Do you see this administration having the political will?
I think so. I think so. Because a child that is going to be a very serious minded businessman is always determined when he was small.
Okay, well, just continue and give us some other major ways you feel.
Yes, we've talked about the refineries
and the power.
We're talking about the power sector. If you're able to revive this power sector, it will reduce your dependency on running your home with generators. And the money you're supposed to use in buying fuel on daily basis. How much you spend on daily basis? Do you spend less than 2,000 naira to get fuel every day? How much is your salary? If you save that money, won't you do something for your family?
Of course.
You have solved another problem from that one. Now the health sector. Look at most of our people, especially the government officials, who are more guilty than every other Nigerian, running even to Togo to go and receive medical attention. We can revive our ailing health sector that will keep our people here. It will save you some foreign exchange and extra code, as they normally call it the government sector. So by the time you are not doing all this, you are saving foreign exchange. Then you talked about borrowing. That why are we borrowing when we are not making money? By the time you are now saving this foreign exchange, you are building up a reserve. At a point, you will not put a hold on your borrowing because you have enough reserve. You cannot call a bluff. You cannot call a bluff when you are owing somebody. What is a debtor arguing about? Is it that he did not buy or he has paid? If he did not buy, they won't call him a debtor. If he has paid, they will not call him a debtor. But until you pay that money, you remain a debtor. And the only way to go out of debt, let us not go the conventional way. The only way to go out of debt is to build your own reserve, is to build your own backline. Yeah. If you have a solid backline and reserve, one day you just wake up and say, I'm paying you off, I'm paying you off, I'm paying you off, I am self-sufficient. Then you now become a man. But until that is done, let this money we are talking about now not be used to pay debt. Let it be used to build our assets, our moribund assets. We have too many of them lying waste. Your own at the back of your house here, we have Alaja. What are they producing? Ajakuta, what are they producing? Oshobo rolling mills, I don't think they are still existing. Then you talk of Asaba Textile. Where are they? All these companies there, where are they? All these companies that have left Nigeria, where are they? If they see that you are now building a booming economy, most of these companies on their own will come back. It's a function of an economic policy. Then, to stabilize the whole issue, institute a very solid security system that anybody that is doing business is not afraid of anybody.
But anyway, I'm afraid we need to go on the break now.
But don't be afraid of me because I'm
okay. But anyways, I just would plead with you that we need to go on the break now. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on that very revelation coming from the coordinating minister of the economy, and funny enough, who doubles also as the finance minister just on Monday.